Okay, today we're going to look at lesson 11.10. Apply volume formula. What is the volume formula? Can I write it up there with the letters, remember?
Length times width times height.
Or what else can it be?
Base
times height. Okay, because length times width is how we get the area of the base, right? Or if we have only a two-dimensional figure, the area that covers. Okay, we're going to, it says, how can you use a formula to find the volume of a rectangular prism? Whoa. If we look at these two drawings, what is different about them?
One has lines to separate the unit.
Or one has, who said the word? Cubes. And the other one doesn't.
Just a big.
Yeah. So what is the same?
It's the same. They have the same size. They have the same area. Yeah.
They have the same measurements, don't they? Yeah. So what they've been doing with those little unit cubes is trying to get you to see that it's the space that's filled up that we're talking about. So in the second one, they've just drawn the three-dimensional figure. And yes, they are the same. They do take up the same amount of space. Here's our problem for today. Oh, not that again. Mike is making a box to hold his favorite DVDs. The length of the box is 7 inches. The width is 5 inches and the height is 3 inches. What is the volume of the box Mike is making? One way we can do it is use length, width, and height. You can use the formula to find the volume of the rectangle. So you need to really put this into your brain, into your long-term memory, that volume equals length times width times height. Identify the length, width, and height of the rectangle. So which one is the length? The 7. Which one do you feel is the width? The 5. And then what does that leave for the height? 3. So when you're doing that, you kind of really need to think about what's laying on the bottom as your length times width. Now, would it matter if we did height times length times width, or width times height times length? Would it matter if we switch those around? What property is that we can use? The commutative property. Okay? So no matter which order that you multiply them in, you will get the same answer. But for down the road thinking, you probably do need to keep them length, width, and height. Okay, in step 2, it says multiply the length and the width. And once again, what was our length?
7.
And our height was?
5.
And we know that 7 times 5 is 35. Now multiply the product of the length times width, which was what? 35. The product of length times width by the height, which was
3.
And 35 times 3. What's 3 times 30?
90.
And 3 times 5?
15.
And 90 plus 15 is?
105.
105. So there's a little mental math work for us. So the volume of Mike's DVD box is 105 cubic inches. Let me give you an example of where you're thinking, why do I need to know this? Last night we were looking at cars on the internet. Our car's getting quite a few miles on it. We've had it for about 8 years. So we were looking, and we looked at a car like just what we have, and the cargo space in the back. And we looked at another car, and this other car had 12 more cubic feet of room meaning I could take some 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot blocks and put 12 more of them in the back of the other car than in a car like we drive. But the reason was the length of that car is a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes when we put our third seat up, we only have like, you know, our grandkids have those little kids suitcases. We only have that much room for them behind there for cargo if we have to use our third seat, so it's kind of hard. Okay, so another way is length, width, and height. Emilio's family has a sandcastle kit. The kit includes molds for several solid figures that can be used to make the sandcastle. One of the molds is a rectangular prism like the one shown at the right. How much sand will it take to fill the mold? So one of our formulas, remember, is volume equals base times height. And we remember that base is equal to length times width, right? Okay, let's see what it says in the thing. Replace B with the expression for the area of the base shape. And replace H with the height. So what is the area of our base? Which one of these measurements is the length?
No.
The 5.
Yeah.
And which one is the width?
The 4.
And which one is the height?
8.
Now, what do we know about our order of operations? We always should do what's in parentheses first. So 5 times 4 is
20.
And then we have to bring down our 8. And 8 times 20 is what? What's 8 times 2? 16. And then we would add our 0. Notice it says what? What's the label? Cubic inches. Or we could write it like we talked yesterday. Whoops.
Cubic square?
Inches cubed. So it will take 160 cubic inches of sand to fill that rectangular prism, that mold that they got for their within their sandcastle kit. Okay, so here's another way. We're just going to use the volume formula. Length times width times height. Again, our length is 7. Our width is
4.
and our height is
5.
and 7 times 4 is
28.
Oh, now this one's going to be a little harder, but what's 5 times 20?
100.
And 5 times 8?
40.
And 100
40.
plus 40 is
140.
140 cubic feet. Okay, let's try the next one. This should be box B. Length times width times height. Why do you think they're telling you that so much?
So you can get it into your brain.
So you can get it into your brain. Now they told us the volume. And they give us the length. So we're going to plug that in here. And they give us the width. Whoops. And they give us the width, which is 4. And we've got to figure out what that is. So how are we going to have to work a little backwards here? What do we know in our formula already? That we need to do 5 times 4, which is
20.
So how are we know we altogether it's 60, and we know that the base is 20. How are we going to find that height? Divide. We're going to do the opposite of what we would do. So we have 60 divided by 20, which is
3.
not 3. Yeah, is 3 times. It will go in there 3 times, right? So our height must be 3. So 20 times 3. If I filled this prism with centimeter cubes, each layer would have 20 cubes. How many layers of 20 cubes would I have to equal 60? So the unknown measurement is 3. So we used our problem solving it backwards, and we had to use the inverse operation, right? Okay, now we're turning to the Sharon show on page 481, and we're going to find the volume of this. Let's write our formula up to the top. Volume is equal to what?
Length times width times height.
Or volume is equal to?
Base times height.
Okay. Oops, guess we better do this one then. So we have length of 2, width of 4, and height of 5. 2 times 4 is?
8.
And times 5, and 8 times 5 is?
40.
40 what?
40
feet cubed. Okay.
Do we have to show our work when we work?
I would like you to just write that down, just like I just did. Just so I know that you're getting all the information in the right places. So why don't you go ahead and do number 2 on your own, and then come back and check it. There we go. So you should have written down something that looked kind of like this. And 4 times 4 is 16. Times 9. Then 16 times 9. 54. Times 6 times 9 is 54. 9 times 1 is 9 plus 5 is 14. So we had 144 centimeters cubed. Okay, this is number 3. So we're going to have 6 times 6 times 6. 6 times 6 is?
6.
Times 6. Now, if you want to do it this way, what's 6 times 30?
180.
And what is 6 plus times 6?
36.
So you could add it like that. 6, 8 and 3 is 11. You have to regroup of 1. 216 cubic inches or inches cubed. Okay. Let's try another one. This is number 5. So we have 10 times 6 times 4. Okay, I'm not sure what we got. There we go. So 10 times 6 is?
60.
Times 4. 4 times 6 is? 24. So we bring down our 0 and we have centimeters cubed. This one is 6. Now this is going to mean a little bit more work, right? Because we're multiplying 2-digit numbers. So we have 14 times 6 times 12. So I'm going to go over to the side and I'm going to do 14 times 6. I'm going to get 84. Now I'm going to multiply that by 12. And I'm going to get 1,008 inches cubed. Okay, let's see if they give us when it goes down to the bottom. Nope. This is the problem solving. Let's go ahead and look at number 7 on the bottom of page 481. What does it give us? If we have our volume equals length times width times height, what does it give us? What is known?
The length. It gives us the
It gives us the 7 times the 6. It does not give us the height. And it gives us a volume of 420. So again, we're going to have to kind of work backward. What is 4 times 6?
42.
So 42 times something equals 420. What are we going to have to do?
Divide 400.
Divide. How many 42s in 420? 10.